Well, hello everybody. I have some phone power. The docket station will charge my phone, and so I found that out last night. I dug that out of my stuff, and I found it. So I can't plug in, but I can charge on a docket. So that's nice. Still getting a new phone Thursday, as I don't trust the battery, and I want to make sure to get all the data off my phone. This video is important, and I am seeing as I go through things as they are that the right side of politics in Canada highly corrupted and highly ignorant, which is a lot of my followers, and they're falling off. They're falling off very fast, and it has to be done, folks. It has to be done. Ronald Reagan went through it. Richard Nixon went through it. JFK went through it. It's an ugly truth, a truth that Canada can't stand. Now, I don't know how many of you are following WEF in Davos this week. These last 3 days have been incredible. Not that it's any kind of majority, but I waited a long time for the World Economic Forum, and of course it was a joke. I quit. I had an invite there. It took a very long time, a number of years. And of course, within a few hours, I walked out. I quit. I quit it. And I never wanted to experience that again. It was a joke put on by 1,500 wealthy billionaires in the world. A lot of you know Klaus Schwab and the rest of it. But I don't think you realize just how many United Kingdom and USA through China, folks, absolute through China, Hong Kong, and of course right here in Canada, how many billionaires and organizations are involved in WEF. It's massive, massive. Did you all know that Canada ranks 8th place in billionaires in the world? Did you know that our population and density versus so many other countries makes per person per capita us just under Hong Kong? When you look at poverty, food insecurity here in Canada, homelessness or the ability not to find any housing, families with multi-family single unit dwellings is becoming rampant in Canada. I know out west this isn't so prevalent, although I've seen it in Calgary. Firsthand, I've seen it in Calgary, but other cities, the GTA, that is a completely common occurrence. That's the Greater Toronto Area. Vancouver, absolutely. Many foreigners are doing it. They go way beyond the densities. I know in my former home in Mill Woods in my neighborhood, there was a couple of bi-levels where as neighbors, and we had been there for well over a decade and a half, we would notice these particular houses go on the market and multiple families take on the home, upwards of 3 or 4 families in just a bi-level. So you know it's cramped conditions. And folks, what's happening this week in Davos? There are a minority, and they are an extreme minority, okay, of American billionaires saying we have to shut this down. We have to shut down how the system's working globally, because it's going to lead to the history books. And the history books is off with their head. They even compare it to feudalism, i.e. constitutional monarchies of today. Old world order, the world of yesterday. I was pleased Jason Skamolsky presented me with a news story, a Politico insider, and he was core to Jeff Bezos and Amazon. He was a core investor off the hop, came from money, inherited money, and he invested in Jeff Bezos. And of course, Amazon took off. He is a massive billionaire today. And he spoke out a number of years ago that this was going to happen. He predicted it, and now there's a group of them. There's about 185 in the world, which represents only 6% of the billionaires. Now, Americans can't run, folks. You have to understand this, and I'm going to get into Canada, the constitutional monarchy, what is so dangerous and why I'm so disappointed with conservatives, especially that we're supposed to be with our party, and a lot of them are leaving or just going silent or voicing their anger towards me and the truth. And I know it always takes time for people to accept truth. But folks, these American billionaires know the age-old truth as America did the War of Independence. And globally, there is no other country in the world where the idea of death and taxes is universal for all Americans. You won't find a lot of countries like that. In fact, their constitution and the treaties they've made with nearly every country in the world forces extradition of those who would run from their responsibility of taxes. There's nowhere you can nearly go in the world to escape the United States of America. One thing you accept when you go to the U.S. or become a citizen there, you will pay taxes for the rest of your life. You will never escape the system, no matter how rich or how poor. You don't get away. This is not the same from any of the tyrannical governments in the world. And of course, it's absolutely not for Canada. Canada's constitutional monarchy. That's celebrating stealing people's money and running to another country. That's celebrated. That's the Commonwealth. That's the royal family. If somebody's angry with you in one country, just go jump to another one. So I have this great Commonwealth. And if you do everything right, you can bounce on forever and ever and steamroll your wealth. That's how Klaus Schwab made his money, folks, bouncing from one country to another. Where did he learn that talent? Well, that was the royal family and every monarchy that's ever existed. Klaus Schwab got into it too. He just followed their lead, especially the Commonwealth of countries. That easy. That easy. That can't happen in the United States. More than that, in the United States, these billionaires are scared. It's nearly one third of the billionaires in the United States are now scared. And they're trying to tell everybody, this world system doesn't work. We can't escape the USA. We the people here, and we have an armed citizenry that's allowed to build a militia. We can't corrupt our government to the point of a Hong Kong, a Canada, a UK, and so many others. And Canada is one of the worst, folks. When you take per person per capita, we are really fastly closing in on Hong Kong. That'll make us per person per capita the worst wealth disparity nation in the world, nearly. And you know what? If you break down some of the northern territories, two of them, the GTA and Vancouver, they're rapidly closing in on Hong Kong. There was no other country that had such a massive wealth transfer from the people of tomorrow and today, meaning all these defined subjects and those unborn are promised a boatload to cover the transfer of wealth to the wealthy elite here in Canada. We created more billionaires in the last 2 years in Canada than we ever did in 30 years. It was that drastic. I can't make this up. These are real world stats, not only in World Economic Forum, but you'll find it out in the ECOSOC second organ of the United Nations. Canada has reported. It's reported to all of you. It's convoluted, lengthy read. It's not for the faint of heart. You should have an economic or finance background, and they make it so complicated, average Joe Jane won't read it. You won't read it because you're like, what am I reading? They know what they're doing. They're bamboozling you. Canada, Conservative, Liberal, NDP, Green, Bloc, not one wealthy Canadian billionaire from Canada or Hong Kong showed up to support those 185. You won't find not one single Canadian billionaire. In fact, it's not even a problem in Canada, apparently. Not even a problem. Record creation of billionaires, record poverty, meaning food insecurity. We've never been as high as we are now, unless you look at the Great Depression. We've never had as many homeless as we do now, unless you go back to the Great Depression. It's sick. It's wrong. Drug addicts, mental health through the roof. The amount of land available for purchase for Canadians has never been this low. We've never seen such a surge in pricing. And folks, the Real Estate Association, National Real Estate Association will tell you, oh no, prices have fallen in Canada. In such a shitty climate compared to the US, our housing is astronomical. It's not even close. What the average Canadian pays for a home in Canada today with these record interest rates is nowhere near the United States of America. In fact, you have to take the average Canadian's purchase of a home and compare it to the upper 3% of Americans. I kid you not. That's how cockamamie and out of control Canada is. Was this done by Justin Trudeau in the last 7 years? In his time, 2 years, absolutely. The pandemic was a great way for Liberals to see their friends get rich and filthy rich. But it was also an opportunity for all the Conservatives and NDP's friends to get filthily rich. We can look at many law firms and people fighting. We can watch corporate transfers, loans, watch wealthy elite Conservatives and Liberals run away with all the money. When you start looking at who became a billionaire, who's involved, Liberal, Conservative, when you look at historically where they spend their money. NDP too. There's law firms there too. These people raked in the dough. They raked in the dough. Banking institutions raked in the dough. The shareholders thereof raked in the dough. They're really raking it in right now with interest rates. Not one showed up in Davos because there is no Second Amendment in Canada. They're taking our guns here in February. Why would they want to do that? Why would they want to do that? Because the billionaires know that the load limit is this close for the people. How do you end the load limit? Well, it's easy. Look at what they do in Hong Kong. The military and the police ascend on you, and you have to fight back with broken glass, bottles, rocks, and sticks. Literally pitchforks. Do you think that's going to work against machine guns, tear gas, grenades? USA will never allow that to come to pass. The system won't, as long as they don't lose their guns. And the wealthy elite are preying on that. You see it in the US all the time. Mass shootings. They want guns gone. UK started that. They got rid of guns a long, long time ago. If you look at the IRA and the Irish in revolution in history to gain independence, guns were always an issue. And UK knew, take it away. Only the police, only the military, keep it out of the hands of the subjects, because they will rebel. You can look at all the monarchies, all the tyrannies, that's all the same. Very hard for the subjects that would be citizens to revolt when they have no firepower. And that's where we're going in Canada. Canada is switching us to that so that they can end any and all attempts at revolution. I'm going to tell you again, if you haven't watched it, WEF, 6% of the world billionaires call upon a reset of wealth redistribution from the wealthy elite back to the people. I say land, it's what we talk about, real property for all Canadians and First Peoples. Give them a fighting chance, constitute laws we can all craft together giving everybody a shot. They divide our society by the older generation. Oh, but you made so much money on your homes, or you can sell your homes, you can backwards mortgage, or you're going to make a lot of money. And so the older generation says, well, I'm okay. My house is worth 10 times as much as it was when I bought it. But nobody can buy your home. See the problem here? Your home isn't going to be going into another family's hands. Not at $750,000, $800,000. That's not economically viable in today's median wages. It's not rocket science. It's real economics. It's all a lie. They want it to go to developers, rich shareholders, that wealthy elite who will tear down all the houses and build up straight up towers, because we have little pockets in Canada of released land. Mass amount of it isn't available. We have highways and roads connecting, but literally there's not much on each side of the road. Some provinces you'll see more, like Alberta, Saskatchewan, but as you go east, it becomes less and less. And Canadians don't realize that. We talk about equalization, why they do that. The West doesn't understand that when you go to Ontario or Quebec, you find out that most of the province is literally available to nobody, not for any other reason, but pure crown autocracy, so much more control. You look at the Canadian flags are much bigger in Ontario than anywhere else in Canada. The centralized system is there. They've oppressed the people, Upper and Lower Canada, for many, many hundreds of years, longer than a lot of the other provinces, and the central government's there, so they can really oppress the people there. They've gotten away with it much longer. People have been institutionalized longer. Justin Trudeau the other day doing a video, my family's 11 generations. He's been an elite status 11 generations. He doesn't understand the concept of anything else. You'll see this with a lot of conservatives too. They get drunk with the power. Conservatives don't want to hear this. They don't want to hear about Jordan Peterson and his crown, his pyramid scheme that he's in love with, or Maxime Bernier, lifetime Privy Council member, sworn, oath-bound, gets a check every month, has a property in Florida just to represent the crown. People don't want to hear it. They don't. WEF is taking control of Canada because of your politicians. They're not even fighting back in Davos today. It's only American billionaires in a large margin. Why? Because they have the most to fear. Places like Canada, Hong Kong, nothing to fear. Nothing to fear, folks. There's going to be no armed revolution. They're taking all the guns. It's illegal to have militias. The family unit's been gone since Brian Mulroney. He gave the government power over family. He signed that agreement in the UN General Assembly, a non-binding law, but he ratified it against the P5 member USA, who did a veto. Brian Mulroney said, listen, we can't have family units anymore. Family values, we're getting rid of it. He did that, not a liberal, a conservative. Not that Jean Chrétien came right after and finished off changes in the criminal code, changes to new international laws, removing the morality of the family from Canada forever. We've been stepping back into old world order. They're talking about it in Davos today. At least 6% of the billionaire community, which is represented by the US, they're trying to tell the world, but the world of billionaires doesn't care. The WEFers don't care, especially in the Commonwealth of Nations. They don't care. Canada's leading in wealth transfer by a massive large margin. We're going to overtake Hong Kong in 7 years. Is the GTA in Vancouver ready for Coffin City, where you're stacked up, multi-apartments divided up into little locker room coffin-style living for the old, the sick, the handicapped, the poor, the drug addicts? Is that what we're going to become? A betting man would say yes. Hong Kong was created by the UK, the British system, another stylized system just like Canada won. Go look at the Opium Wars. I tell people all the time, read Opium Wars 1 and 2. Where did drug problems come from in the world? Oh yeah, the royal family, constitutional monarchies. People don't want to look at this stuff. The Klaus Schwab WEF design is flourishing in Canada, and there's no conservative, liberal, NDP, Green Bloc, or any of the rest that want to do anything about it. In fact, they support it 110%. They've crafted laws since Justin Trudeau's daddy's time, all the way through the conservatives and liberals alike. You can go look. Stephen Harper is still in WEF. His face is propped up there. He's there. Pierre Poilievre's there. Regardless of what he tells you, Justin Trudeau's there. We can go on and on. They're all there. They're all there. They bent the knee. They swore the oath. You will find that the entirety of the Commonwealth is there. And you can steal as much from the people as you want. Lie, cheat, and steal. Politicians can lie, cheat, and steal from you. Conservatives are still not grasping that Danielle Smith is a bowl-faced fat liar. She's belly flopped and flipped on everything she promised that group of conservatives to get elected. She's completely done a 180 and gone the other way. From fines and jailings to so much more. Promise of we're going to fix what happened to those that were locked out, locked down, subjugated, mandated. Remember, she said she can go, I'm going to take care of all of you. She's completely 180'd the other way. Complete liar. And the people, oh no, it's not just like Jason Kennedy. Kenny, oh it is. It is. And they don't want to accept it. That it's called Crown. It's called up and down, not left and right. Doesn't matter if it's Rachel Notley or Danielle Smith or anybody else. They go up. They go up, 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 up. Autocracy. Down here is liberty. We the people. We're way up here in autocracy. And it's gotten much, much worse in the last 2 years. And the WEF is flourishing, I repeat, flourishing in Canada. It will not be long before it's too late to turn back. There will be no ability for anybody to revolt or take power or end it. We need to do this in 2025. A lot of people don't want to see. A lot of people, heads in the sand. Oh no, it's just Justin Trudeau. It's just a liberal problem. History of corruption in Canada and the destruction of the people of Canada is equally a conservative, liberal, federally, because that's all we've ever elected. But I can promise you, when you look at all the MPs, there's been NDP, there's been Bloc, there's been Green. They've gone along to get along. They've gone with the global narratives. They've gone for the wealthy elite over you, the subjects and savages, defined constitutionally. It's not cockamamie. It's not crazy. It's not out there. This is reality. And we can wait it out. We can wait it out to 2037. And you will all see. And then it's too late. It's too late. You won't recognize schools. You won't recognize anything of the world today in Canada. You won't recognize it. You won't recognize living standards. You won't. It'll be a horror movie. If you could fast forward, it's like that story Jason gave where the guy, this billionaire, says, you know, I always had the ability to look ahead, see things, and I'd go for it. And that's what he was trying to say in 2014. I see where the world's going for certain countries. He knew where U.S. is going. totally makes sense as it stands, as long as they continue with the Second Amendment on militias and firearms. They will reset. They will reset and say, no. But places like Canada will go into old world order. It's our design. We have no choice but to go that way. The monopoly board and the game is playing. And in the end, it's the wealthy elite and all of you, no players, living in squalor. For some today, they say, oh no, it worked great for me, but that line is drawn. The buyers of tomorrow, the family unit, is gone. It's gone. We're at the end of it now. The prices of homes aren't falling, and what they are falling is doubling down on interest, making wealthy even more wealthy, and less people able to buy a home. Less people having children. Import more. Just keep forcing immigration here. Who cares? Press it. Last time I looked, liberals and conservatives agree that that's the way forward. Why would the unsustainability of a reproducing society not send out alarm bells? Why is mass immigration the solution? Force it. Force them into a smaller area. Keep all the crown land for yourself. It's a rat race, a colonial crown rat race, a WEF design, making many people poor and a very, very few extremely rich. It's that easy. It's that crazy. It's that truthful. The divinity of a human being. Sure, get it out there. It's important for Canadians to know that you're the big losers. The big losers, not the U.S. You're going to see that change by design, constitutional design. That will change. Billionaires speaking out today. Not Canada, not Hong Kong. They know that in their system, they will abuse the people forever and a day, and there's nothing they can do about it. The government is down with it because they're down with the crown. That's what it is. Bye now.